Well, that's how I feel. By the way, this is Sportmentary back with the commish for a Big Blue recap. Not so big today. I don't know, what's the final? 52-0? 55-0? 55, I think?
Was it 55? I thought it was 52, but I stopped counting after 17.
It just went from worse to worse. I mean, especially at the end with those two botched, well, I don't know what you call them, recoveries for Saskatchewan. But that was at the end of the game. I think this is going to be quick. There's not much to say besides that Mac should be fired. This is all his fault. It's obviously, if they say the team wasn't playing for La Police, they were definitely not playing for the new guy. Too many changes, trying to gas players before the biggest game of the year. I don't know what changes he made. They didn't work. The defense that was coming back to life went to death. Anyway, that's my intro. I'll let you get a word in here while I try and gather my thoughts.
I'm going to try to take the positive spin on this. The positive out of this, the Bombers have lost the last 8 Labor Day Classics. They always get blown out there. Maybe Mac is actually just a genius because he got rid of La Police a week early because he knew they were going to lose in Saskatchewan. And now it sets up Burke for a huge comeback victory in Winnipeg next Sunday.
That might be fine and good, fine and dandy, whatever you want to say. Blue Bomber fans this is as much as they can take. And if there's a game that this year you want to win, because you know you're not making the playoffs in all likelihood, this is the game to have come out and won the game. And we will never know if La Police would have been in the same situation and blown out like this. It's really hard to tell. But the bottom line is, like we talked last week and like we talked before the show while we're watching the game, the timing of that move to fire La Police couldn't have been any worse. All right. Now,
I think we talked about that last week, and it just came to fruition here. I believe I was the one who called for the Bombers to get 2 points, and I overestimated their abilities. I thought at least with a couple wind gusts that Renault could punt it into the end zone, but I don't think they made it past Saskatchewan's 50-yard line this game.
Well, first of all, you said 38-2, and I said 38-0.
Oh, did you call for a shutout?
No, sorry, 38-10. You're right.
Yeah, apparently the Bombers hadn't been shut out, and I find this hard to believe, but if TSN was correct, since 1967, that was their last time they were shut out. And shut out, I mean, I believe when they took Joey Elliott out of the game, he had 62 yards passing. 62 yards in 3 quarters.
The total offense in the first half was 90 yards, or 93 yards, or something like that, and they had punted 7 times.
And one of the only players that looked like he was trying was Chad Simpson, who had 37.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't even think the Bombers got into a position that they could even kick a field goal today. Maybe one time when I think they went for it or something silly, or it was like a 3rd and 2 and they bumbled the play or something like. I don't even remember the plays anymore. But
they were stuffed on 3rd and 1. They bungled 2 back-to-back kickoffs.
They weren't even in position to kick a field goal or go for a rouge. I mean,
well, that's what I picked. That's what I thought. 2 points. I'd like you to get 2 of your favorite rouges.
You know what? Nice. Today I was hoping for the rouge, and you know how much I hate them. I'm like, dudes, how hard is it to get a point in the CFL? But today it actually proved that maybe it's tougher than it is, and I got to rethink my all hating the rouge deal. If Sweatpants was hearing this, he would probably roll over right now. But here I have some keys to the game, okay? How I saw it. And I just want to read a few of these. Score early. They need to get the crowd out of the game. Defense needs to be awesome. Cause some turnovers. Pressure the QB and get QB sacks. They got 2. One of them early, one of them late. Not really a big deal there. The kid needs to be composed. Talking about Elliott here. Not let the crowd get into his head. I don't know if that was even an issue because they fell behind so early. And don't take dumb penalties. Those were my keys to the game for the Bumblers. Okay? They failed on every account plus some. All right?
They failed to show up for this game. That's what happened. And you know what? I don't know if this one is not on the players. What Mac did to them after their best game of the year last week is he took away their coach. He said to them, the season's over. I don't care that you almost beat the defending Grey Cup champs. The season's over. He did that to them. This is all on Joe Mac. It's unfortunate Tim Burke had to walk into the situation. It's unfortunate we have to be playing the Saskatchewan Roughriders and half of the ex-Bombers on that team, starting with Brendan Taman and to Labatt, you got Odell Willis, you got even Terrence Harris got into the equation here with a touchdown. Give me a break, man. You know what, Joe Mac, I was trying to be positive at the outset of this, and as I sit here and ponder it, there's nothing positive about this game. The only thing I will say is that back-to-back games are hard to win, so and I think I said this already in one of my articles, I think I said it during our podcast, if they lose again next week to Saskatchewan, Mac has to be fired.
I'm saying shelve him now. Okay? This is the deal. He places a guy, now correct me if I'm wrong, you're closer to the affairs than I am, but he puts in an offensive coordinator that has no Canadian football experience, and it showed today. I believe that the new head coach, was defensive coordinator. I might be wrong there. Putrid.
Yes. Putrid. That's how Tim Burke made his name as defensive coordinator with the Montreal Alouettes.
He does not understand the Canadian game. The one thing you could say about that defense coming into this game is that it was making strides, and it went way back, okay? Because
their defensive coordinator became head coach and didn't have time to spend going over a game plan with him.
But what I also think, and penalties are an issue with this team, there's no doubt. I'm not going to say that the new guy shouldn't focus on it and find players, but I really think that he focused too hard. What do they call those drills again that he had him run?
The gazzers, yeah. They talked about that on TSN.
Overworking guys before a big game. And
not even overworking before a big game, totally changing their practice routine that they've been used to for the last 8 games. Now all of a sudden they're going to go balls to the walls during practice when they haven't been. You know, players are creatures of habits. They've changed it. He changed everything that they're used to, and that's what the problem with bringing in.
Here's the problem.
Burke was midway through the season.
He wanted to change the culture of not taking penalties, and I think I commented to you early in this game, what I was noticing is a defense not being aggressive. And I think there's a fine line. I'm not a head coach or anything like that, but I think there's a fine line. We're trying to get guys to be disciplined, and we're talking to offsides and those types of things, or illegal procedures, those types of dumb calls. And then, yes, some of the major fouls that they took today were dumb, but at least what the team was doing in the last 3 games is that they were pressuring the quarterback, they were getting turnovers, and they were being aggressive, and they weren't overthinking not taking a penalty versus being aggressive. I didn't see any aggressive play by the defense today, and that bothered me.
You're right. The defense seemed to kind of take the game off, and whether it was that they were afraid to make errors because of the new regime, we'll never know. But this was a disgraceful performance, and you got to feel for the fans from Winnipeg that head down there to watch this debacle. You know what else I want to point out? Ian Logan looked so out of place today. He got burned so many times. Weston Dressler made him look like he should be playing Pop Warner football. Nothing went right for the team. I don't think there's much more point in beating this dead horse. I think we should move on to our prediction for next week, to be honest with you.
Okay, well, tell everybody who they play.
Well, they're back. They're Saskatchewan for Troy Westwood in the Banjo Bowl. So we get the same team, and we have the Bombers will have another difficult week of practice. They'll be another week removed from the whole La Police debacle. And you got to think that Joe Mack will be taking all the heat this week, not the players. Well, maybe some of them. So I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say Buck Pierce starts.
Yep.
I'm gonna say the Bombers win 28-17 in the Banjo Bowl.
All right, and I'm along the lines of you. I think that having a veteran quarterback come in here, if he can stay healthy throughout that game, his leadership will be good. I think we'll see a different defense in front of a home crowd this time. That's very loud and could be that extra man. I do think it's hard to come in and have the emotional game that Saskatchewan had and come into what I call Winnipeg Stadium. I'm always going to call it that, and win a game. So I'm going to say that the Blue Bombers win 24-20.
All right. Well, we're on the same page, I think, for the first time. No, because we both thought they'd lose last week. Sorry. Okay.
Hopefully we can be proven right. I don't think there's much more to address, except that I'm going to continue this. Joe Mack should not last more than a week or two.
Again, you got to give him to see how they come to play next week.
I don't care. He's so bad. He's done such a poor job. We should use his type of decision making and fire him like he did La Police. He didn't give him an extra game or two. So I say no. I want to see him gone. He doesn't deserve to have second, third, fourth chances. The team's doing so bad due to him. And anyway, let's end there because I'm just going to get worked up. But yeah, they should get rid of him. Anyway, I guess we'll see each other next week after the next game, and hopefully it's better than what we saw this week. It can't get worse, can it?
It can get worse if they were playing a better team. No, it can't get worse because they save their worst games for that for the Labor Day Classic. They usually do. Although they did have quite a dud against Edmonton earlier in the year. I'm not sure. I'm trying to keep it positive, keep the faith until.
We'll say that
next week will be the determining factor for me.
All right. Well, I guess we'll be back for another recap next week, and as I said, let's hope for the positive, and let's not dwell too much on this. And you have a good rest of the Labor Day weekend. All right.
Well, whatever. We'll try to.
All right. There's some U.S. Open. Get to it.